The U.S. national debt, origins, political responsibility, and the misuse of social program financing. Introduction. The United States is currently burdened with a national debt exceeding $34 trillion, a staggering sum that continues to grow due to budget deficits, interest payments, and government spending decisions. There is ongoing debate about which political party has contributed the most to the debt and whether social programs such as Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid should be considered entitlements. This dissertation explores the history of U.S. debt accumulation, examines political responsibility, and critiques the mischaracterization and misuse of social program financing in addressing the debt. The current state of U.S. debt. As of 2024, the U.S. national debt exceeds $34 trillion, with annual deficits adding to this figure. The primary components of the debt include: 1. Public debt. Approximately $26 trillion is owed to investors, including foreign countries such as China and Japan, domestic institutions, and individual bondholders. 2. Intragovernmental debt. Around $8 trillion is borrowed from government programs, primarily Social Security and other trust funds. 3. Interest payments. The U.S. pays over $1 trillion annually in interest, making it one of the largest budget expenditures. Political responsibility for the debt. A historical analysis shows that both political parties have contributed significantly to the national debt. 1. Ronald Reagan, 1981 to 1989. Republican, the national debt tripled due to increased military spending and tax cuts. 2. George H. W. Bush, 1989 to 1993. Republican, debt increased, though he raised taxes to curb deficits. 3. Bill Clinton, 1993 to 2001. Democrat, Clinton's administration achieved a budget surplus, briefly stabilizing debt growth. 4. George W. Bush, 2001 to 2009. Republican, massive tax cuts, the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, and Medicare Part D significantly expanded the debt. 5. Barack Obama, 2009 to 2017. Democrat, the debt doubled due to recession-related stimulus measures and increased government spending. 6. Donald Trump, 2017 to 2021. Republican, major tax cuts and COVID-19 relief spending ballooned the debt further. 7. Joe Biden, 2021 present. Democrat, additional stimulus measures and infrastructure spending have continued to expand the debt. Both parties have contributed to debt accumulation, often due to tax cuts, military spending, and economic crises rather than excessive social program expenditures. Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Not entitlements. The term entitlement programs inaccurately suggests that these programs provide unearned benefits. However, American workers have paid into Social Security and Medicare throughout their working lives via payroll taxes, FICA, which are deducted directly from their paychecks. 1. Social Security. Funded by a 6.2% payroll tax, matched by employers, Social Security is a retirement insurance program workers have funded in advance. 2. Medicare. Financed by a 1.45% payroll tax, also matched by employers, Medicare is not a handout but prepaid health coverage for retirees. 3. Medicaid. Jointly funded by federal and state governments, Medicaid supports low-income Americans, many of whom have worked but do not qualify for Medicare. Since these programs are worker-funded, labeling them as entitlements misrepresents their structure. They are not welfare programs but earned benefits. The problem with using social program funds to pay the debt. The U.S. government has historically borrowed from Social Security trust funds to finance deficits, replacing the borrowed amounts with treasury bonds. However, this approach is deeply flawed for several reasons. 1. It undermines the trust fund's solvency. Redirecting funds from Social Security weakens its ability to pay future retirees, jeopardizing benefits. 2. Workers have prepaid these benefits. Unlike discretionary spending, Social Security and Medicare funds were deducted from workers' wages for a specific purpose. 3. It shifts the burden onto future generations. Borrowing from these programs creates an artificial funding crisis, prompting calls for benefit cuts instead of addressing broader fiscal mismanagement. Conclusion: the U.S. national debt is a complex issue influenced by tax cuts, military expenditures, and economic downturns rather than social programs. Both political parties have contributed to its growth, but Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid should not be blamed or used to offset deficits. These programs are worker-funded and represent promises made to American citizens who have paid into them for decades. Sustainable fiscal policy should focus on responsible budgeting, fair taxation, and economic growth rather than raiding essential social safety nets.